Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV, feeling a little bit more chipper, a little bit fresh. I can actually feel my throat now, which is nice. We're here to talk through more details on the stadium after they got released yesterday. A conversation between Harry, who works at Manchester United. Big up, Harry. Used to work for the People's Person, actually. Used to write on the website. Anyway, and what's his name? Alistair? No, it's not Alistair Campbell. Anyway, an architect from Foster & Partners. Runs through a lot more details on the stadium, on the steepness of the stands, on the Munich clock, on the Trinity statue, on the processional walkway, on where you're going to use Old Trafford and parts of... Lots more details. So we're going to run through all of that this morning. We're also going to speak about further fallout from the season ticket price rises and older fans who feel massively ostracised by it, and I understand that, especially separately, but those who have been moved from those seats behind the dugouts. We'll also speak about Aiden Heaven, Christian Eriksen leaving Manchester United, and lots more. You can fire in your comments and your questions as well. Look, Tyler, I just saw the title of the United stand before I came on, being linked with De Jong. During the show, I'm going to find out where that's from. But I guarantee you, if I wipe my ass right now and showed you that piece of paper, that will be where it's coming from. Anyway, good morning to you, Ian, Carl, Josh, Stephanie. Mods are out in full force this morning. I tell you what, it's like 15, 16 degrees. It's what March should feel like in England, not winter. Anyway, it was cold on my birthday the other day, though. Could have come back 5-6 days earlier. That's what I'm saying. David Collette, good morning to you. Saeed, Ricky, Royston. Keith, you're there as well. And Volpez, you are correct. Today is indeed United People's Productions Day. I'll whip out the poster at some point soon and show you that. Yeah. As I said to you like a few days ago, it's nice to go into an international break like not full of just doom and gloom. This is the first time this season that we have had this. You know, you can come into the live shows, it's a little bit chippy. You don't have to talk about the garbage that you've seen, the problems that you've seen. Hey, look, there are still problems, and we will still talk about problems. But it's just nice to have a couple of wins and just to have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Manchester United have now announced something for any Swedish fans up in here. Who's going to this? Any Swedish fans up in here? Let me know in the chat. Man United are going back to Stockholm, to the same stadium that they won the Europa League in 2017. I should have been there, Jit. It's not that I hold it against you, but, you know, if you get a ticket for Bilbao and I don't, you should probably give me that ticket so you can balance it out, you know what I mean? But United are playing Leeds, first game of our pre-season. Our pre-season is going to be nuts. Our pre- and post-season is going to be nuts. I understand why they're doing it, right? This summer, more than any time, you know how that argument that always exists with United in pre-season. Commercial versus what's actually best for the players and what's actually best for the club. This summer is going to be what is best commercially. What can bring most money in? All right? That's going to be the defining factor. That's why United are doing a post-season tour. As soon as we finish the season against Villa, I don't know whether we do it straight from Villa or whether there's a day or two rest, but it's not going to be far after. We're going to Malaysia for 2 games. And I think they're going to earn somewhere in the region of $10 million. It's a big money spinner. And then, of course, we're in the preseason. We're in America. I think we got a game in... They announced this the other day, didn't they? Is it New Jersey, Atlanta, and Chicago? Is that what the 3 games are? And I imagine they might try and sneak in a cheeky 4th game in the Snapdragon Stadium out in LA. Because, of course, Snapdragon are our main sponsors. I imagine that would probably be like a youth team, but still... It is quite extreme. United's preseason is going to be extreme. So I worry about the fatigue that's going to cause. Of course, there'll be benefits for there's more games, and technically you'll be a little bit fitter, but it's that balance between fitness and preparation and not causing burnout with the players before the season's even started. So, let's add another game into that. That's what we're doing. Playing Leeds in Stockholm. So, is anybody down here in the comments who's Swedish? Let's have a look. Adrian Karlstrom. That's a very strong Swedish name, that is. You're going to be watching. I'd love to go. 19th of July? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Isn't it funny how they never go to Tampa, says Gareth. That would be glorious. That would be glorious if the club was ever... I mean, the club would never be stupid enough to do that. Because I imagine the Glazers would block it. Have United ever played in Florida under the Glazers? That's actually a really interesting question. Have United ever played in Florida in a pre-season game under the Glazers? I know we've played in... Have we never played in Miami? Feels like we might have done. I feel like I know about it. Played in New York plenty. Played in LA plenty. Don't know. No idea. Anyway, let's move on to the show. And let's start off with some really... Well, what looks like good news. I can't guarantee that it's good news. But Aiden Heaven on Instagram yesterday posting this, right? Saying, thanks, guys, for all the support. Little spelling mistake, doesn't matter. Look, thanks, guys, for all the support. I've read all your messages, and I'm doing really well and recovering fast. So, for me, looking for the positive spin on that, of course, it certainly doesn't sound like he's got a big old leg break. Tyler saying 2018 against Real Madrid. I need to look into that. I wonder what happened around protests at that point. I don't particularly remember hearing or seeing anything major. I don't know. But it sounds positive from Aiden. Like, you know, if had he suffered like a big old ACL injury or a massive ligament injury, I'm not sure he'd be coming all chipper on Instagram like that. Again, might be looking into that too much. May well be. But fingers crossed that that's a prelude of an announcement that will come from United today. Maybe, well, actually, I think we could hear something today. Maybe about, in an ideal world, you're looking like an ankle sprain. Something that keeps you off the training ground for like, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks. Then take another 2, maybe 3 weeks to get back to fitness. So maybe 6 weeks time. To be fair, in 6 weeks time, the season's basically over. I think it is, isn't it? 6 weeks time, what's that? 19th of April, start of May. When is the season actually over this year? I don't know the exact dates. Of course, if United get to the Europa League final, I think that's midweek. You know, it's on like a Wednesday, the Europa League final. When's the actual last game of the season that we've already got? There's 4 games in May. Brentford, West Ham, Chelsea and Villa. I think if United get to the semi-final, I think that's on the 1st and the 8th of May. So technically there could be 6 games left in May. Well, to be fair, there could be a few games left for him. But fingers crossed, that's an indication that Heaven's injury isn't as bad as we all feared. Because as soon as you see one of your players, like as soon as Sky doesn't show the replay and they whip out the big old stretcher and like being walked off by like 6 people, you're like, oh God, I don't like the look of that. I really don't like the look of that. So fingers crossed. That was more not precautionary. But 21st of May, the Europa League final, apparently. So where's that in the old grand scheme of the games? Is that last game of the season? That's not even last game of the season. Oh, it's disgusting. European final. To be fair, last game of the season is always traditionally was the FA Cup final. Is that still what it is? FA Cup final 2025. They got a date for that yet? Wembley will host the final on the 17th of May. It's not even the last game of the season. Horrible. Horrible. And really a couple of comments out down here. What happened to Nipan? So that's Sven Nipan. He was the lad from... Was it Copenhagen? I think it was Copenhagen. I think he went round Villa, City. Was it Spurs? I don't know if it was Spurs. He saw a couple of Premier League clubs and then decided that he wanted to stay with his club and would then be moving in the summer instead. So I think the conversations around Nipan will exist again in the summer. The Rosenborg, never mind. Who plays Copenhagen? Is it... There was another lad that we were linked with. Can't remember. So Sven plays for Rosenborg. Because we played Rosenborg, if I remember correctly, last pre-season. And was that where he impressed against us? I think that's correct. Anyway, those conversations will definitely come back in during the summer. Volpez, I see you down there, gifting the membership. Can everybody get involved, man? Everyone drop a like on the video. Now, thank you all for watching the video yesterday. I thought it was... That's it. Rooney... I can't even say his name. Bargy? I think he's a free agent this summer. Let me try and not annihilate his name by... Rooney Bargy? I mean, I know I'm bad at pronunciations, but that one's particularly difficult. So his contract expires in December, which is an interesting time for contracts to expire. I'm guessing that's just when that's why I got confused, because he's from Copenhagen. See? You can all let me off now. But United, of course, were linked with him previously. But he had a bad... Didn't he have a bad injury? He had a real bad injury. Either way, interesting. Just another couple of youngsters we'll be linked with. Now, the reason I did the video yesterday was to sort of just kind of a full summary of what's going on with the Kobbie Mainoo situation. For all the stuff that's been reported, from Amram saying that he wants to keep Mainoo, from Ratcliffe going on record saying if we sell players this summer, it won't be... We won't just sell academy players just to not be in breach of PSR. That's what he said. So that's why I did that video yesterday, and hopefully the next time that we have a conversation around anything to do with Kobbie Mainoo's new contract will be after he signs it. And he sat there next to Amram, all smiles, and that's it. Sam, you're saying, did I go over Sancho yesterday? I was supposed to go over Sancho. I had it up on the screen, and then honestly, I just sat here. I was clicked on the next tab, and I was like, you know what? On my life, I can't be bothered to talk about Sancho. And I swear that's where I am as a United fan with Sancho now. Like, you know how I can understand this. Like some United fan, not rebel, but some United fan, it's a bit of Schadenfreude, right? My favourite word. You look at how he's getting on at Chelsea, and you're sitting there going, well, I told you so. But on my life, I don't care. Like, I just want Sancho to have absolutely nothing to do with Manchester United anymore. I don't want him to be a player that's out on loan. I don't want any conversation to exist about whether he comes back or not, because he's coming nowhere near our football club again. And just like I've told you a while ago, I'll reiterate again and again, when Sancho is an old man sitting there on the rocking chair on his porch, he'll look back at his United career and goes, fucking wish I played that differently, man. He'll look back with regrets on his United career. Probably a lot of it what he's done, actually. It's not as if he's been unsuccessful at all. But Sancho, from where he was as that Dortmund player, the whole world was at his feet. He was in at that point in time, remember that Sancho was sort of in the same conversations as Haaland, the same conversations as Bellingham. Yeah, those conversations have moved on a lot without him. Anyway, I can't be bothered to speak about it. I say I can't bother to speak about it. I just talked about it for 2 minutes. There you go. But yeah, I don't think he'll keep coming anywhere near our club again. Somebody who will also be leaving the club in the summer, which we knew, and it's the right thing. But Christian Eriksen's been a consummate professional. He is the second best free transfer that we've made. Behind who? Get it in the comments. Eriksen, I think Eriksen's impact at United would have been even more significant if it wasn't for Andy Carroll just basically assaulting him on the pitch. That was such a nuts tackle. Had absolutely no intention of getting the ball. It's like a full-on cow just landing on your knee. He's been a really good player for us, but he does need to leave. There we go. Nathaniel, you know. Philippe, JT, Matt, Origami, and Adrian. Lots of you. Of course, it's Zlatan. Zlatan's right up there with one of the best signings we've made post-Fergie. Was Cavani on a free as well? Man. That list of players that United signed, and my God, I wish we signed them earlier. You can make a whole team out of that. Schweinsteiger was the best one. I wanted us to sign Schweinsteiger so many years before we signed him. But Schweinsteiger, Cavani, Falcao, Ibrahimovic. Who else? What other players did United sign? Didn't have to be on a free. What other players did United sign that we should have signed a few years earlier and you wish that we did? Henrik Larsson. That was a good one. We signed him on loan, didn't we? Did we sign him on loan? Was it Louis Saha got injured? I can't remember. Like why we signed Henrik Larsson on loan in January. Who else is saying down there in the comments? Here's an interesting little segment. It's Casemiro. Yeah, fair enough. But we were never going to get Casemiro earlier than we got him. Varane. Okay, some good names coming through here. Van Persie. Be honest, I enjoyed when we signed Van Persie. Someone saying Blanc down there. Tevez. It's a random one. Can't remember that. Well, I can remember signing Tevez, but he was nobody. It was like, wasn't it a World Cup with Argentina, and then West Ham randomly signed Tevez and Mascherano after it? Van der Sar. Now, there's a good one. There's a great suggestion. My God, I wish we signed Van der Sar earlier. Mandler. Thank you for gifting a membership. Right, let's get into the main part of today's show. Throat is feeling better today, but not perfect. And no, we should never have ever have signed Ronaldo the second time. That's such a catastrophic mistake that we made as a football club. I'll stand by that. Don't care how many goals he scored. That was such a U-turn and just any semblance of a plan that Ollie was building towards just got blown up because it was Ronaldo. How can you turn down Ronaldo? Deary me. I put that as a massive sort of... No, not as... There's nowhere near as much of a ripple effect with Ronaldo as there was with Sanchez when we signed him. But what could have been? Remember that summer that we signed Ronaldo as well? I think, if I remember correctly, we wanted a midfielder all summer, but we were told that there was no money. Right, the club were just holding the purse strings really tight. And then out of nowhere, we signed Ronaldo. And all of a sudden, they just found money for Ronaldo. And that really frustrated me. Anyway, let's speak about this. All right? The video that's going out tonight, I think you'll really, really enjoy. It's going to be the latest in the United People's productions, and I'm actually going to give it space today. So typically, we release a video every lunchtime, and the United People's production goes out in the evening. Today, I'm just going to leave the space. There won't be a lunchtime video, but this will go out at 6 p.m., an hour earlier than usual. And it's going to be our mini doc covering everything that we know to date about the stadium. Pardon me. And frustratingly, this video got released yesterday by United, which is a 25-minute conversation with one of the architects who's going to be building the stadium. So there's actually going to be some information that I'll run through today that won't be in the video later, simply because we've been working on it for a while. All right? Ian, you're saying, today's my brother's birthday. Doc, he is a huge fan. Big up, Doc. Or you could say, what's up, Doc? Happy birthday, man. Thank you for tuning in. You and your brother. So, yeah, make sure you have your notifications on. 6 p.m. That'll be dropping on YouTube. And I think you'll like it. It's kind of a follow-up to the stadium deep dive that we did before, which covered all the plans that we knew about. And actually quite a lot of what we spoke about inside that video has kind of come through. So it's good to see that. But let me run through some details that were discussed in this video. All right, what's the name of the bloody architect? Patrick Campbell. I think I said Patrick Campbell. I don't know if I did. Anyway, there's a little brief video, and then I'm going to run through just some key points that he discusses.
This all started, the big challenge that we got from Jim Ratcliffe was the idea of generating the finest football stadium in the world. Football first, all about atmosphere, all about that fan experience, all about making this the best stadium in the world to come to. So it's talking about proximity to pitch. Can you see everything that's going on, and how closely can you get to that? How can all the fans get together with that fantastic roar to drive on the team to make it a winning stadium, a winning team? So all about acoustics, all about sight lines, all about proximity to pitch, all about feeling connected. The idea of maybe this is the biggest football stadium in Europe. Yeah. Maybe this will be the biggest football stadium in the world. There are some others that are out there at 150, but how can we drive this to be the finest club football ground in the world?
Right. So a lot of what we've kind of heard so far has been a lot of lip service. You've got the concepts that have come out, and as we all should. Well, actually, no, to be fair, you can be excited if you want. That's your own sort of opinion. I'm excited about it. But at the same time, I look at it and I go, well, how are you paying for that? And I think the comparison that I had this morning in the podcast that I did was like you can go and buy out a new car and you can buy it on Klarna. You can buy it on, what's it called? Finance. And it might look great, it might look shiny, but then when you got to pay for it, you'd be like, balls. And then you're screwed. But, and Srimal, you're feeling very cynical down there. The last thing this new development is about football. This is going to be something that they're going to be held accountable to. But everything that they are suggesting and everything that they are reiterating so far is that football is going to be driving the decisions as to how they build this stadium. Not why they build this stadium, all right? Of course, Man United need a new, well, some people disagree with this, but I actually feel that United need a brand new sort of stadium for the modern version of Manchester United that is hopefully going to be born from this point onwards. Because we are a faded giant right now. We haven't won the league since 2013. We haven't won the Champions League since 2008. It's a long-ass time ago. There are, how old is it now? Let me do my maths quick. 2015. There are 12-year-olds in the world who have never seen Manchester United lift the Premier League. That's nuts. Hey, look, dude, you can be completely cynical down there if you want. I will always look at things with a glass half full. I'm, of course, cynical around the finances of the stadium. Cynical around how the hell are we going to get the Glazers out of this club when they've held on for this long and now they're staring at the biggest project that Manchester United will probably ever undergo. And how are we supposed to chase them out at the same time as that? There's so many questions I still have to ask. But in terms of the details, this is what I wanted to have a conversation with you about. Lots more details on small parts of the stadium, but very important parts. Well, not small parts of the stadium, but just different conversations. Here's some info on that, right? The architects, Foster and Partners, want to make it as steep as possible within current regulations. 35 degrees is the biggest angle that they are currently allowed to use in the UK, and they want to use that. And if you look at the Bernabeu, for example, I think the Bernabeu is the best example of this, isn't it? What other examples would you use? I don't know. Anyway, when it comes to steepness of stands, the Bernabeu, for me, it's what makes the Bernabeu intimidating. Like you must do as a player, you go in there, you look down, you're looking at, say you're lining up for the Champions League anthem, you're like, okay, now. You're probably just like scoping upwards because there's just, by increasing the steepness of the stands, you reduce how far away people are from the pitch. All right. And the suggestion here from the architects is that they are going to push it as far as they possibly can. Because you can go over 35 degrees in Europe. And again, I said it in the pod this morning, but if you've ever been on a European away game, there will be certain stadiums that you've been to. I think I remember Sevilla having this stadium. Was it Sevilla or was it Villarreal? I can't remember which one. It might have been both, to be fair. But when you walked up those stairs, you're like, you don't want to be off your face up there, and you don't want to go firing down 6 or 7 bloody rows, which, of course, you can do. But the steepness, they want that. They want to bring everyone as close to the pitch as possible, so what I said there. I think this is an interesting one about it being a football-first venue for all the cynics down there in the comments. Man United are deciding against using or building in a retractable pitch. You look at Spurs. It's kind of a big reason why Spurs built their stadium was because they built it with the NFL in mind. That's where the NFL games are now hosted. Does Wembley host them anymore? I don't know. Real Madrid have got their, like, sod knows how many bloody levels in their retractable pitch. They've got like an entire world underneath their pitch. And of course, by doing that, you can then raise different floorings for different environments. You want to host a concert. Let's take the pitch away. Let's bring this hard surface up. United aren't spending the money required to put that in. They're saying it's a football-first venue. And that kind of leans into that a little bit. I thought this was a little bit of nugget of information. Brick and steel will be used in the build to keep the soul of the original Old Trafford. And this is something that Harry, I think, like, I would encourage you to go and watch the video, right? It's on YouTube. But Harry is somebody who stands in the Stretford end, as somebody who travels to United home and away. He's speaking about it from a fan perspective. And he was saying, like if you go into, take Spurs' new stadium, for example, again. You go into it and it's impressive. It is impressive. But it's so clean inside it. It almost feels like medical. I don't know whether that's the right way to describe it. But everything is crisp, no flaws, no edges, and you just realise that you're walking into something for the first time. Now, I don't know how you can't bring like a faded look to Old Trafford. It's not to the new stadium. It's not exactly what I'm saying. But somehow they've got to make it feel like it's not like a medical facility. And that's where the soul is. That there, I already covered in my initial reaction to the new stadium. There's no hospitality. So if you look at the stand that the new Stretford End will be, I imagine they'll still call it Stretford End. It's going to be, I think, 24,000, which will be 1,000 less than the yellow wall in Dortmund. No band of corporate seats breaking up the middle of it. Just pure 24,000 United fans. That will be impressive. Someone sent a super chat. Let me read that out and read a couple of comments out, and then we'll go down to the other ones. John, you're saying, I travelled from Australia in 2009 to attend a match. The stadium was amazing, as I felt part of my club and its history. These Mickey Mouse owners want to build their own Disneyland. It is, and I understand this because part of me feels this as well. It's hard not to be cynical about the idea that we're turning our back on Old Trafford and just moving somewhere new, not for the sake of it, but there's part of me that really genuinely does think that, John. And then there's a larger part of me that doesn't. If Old Trafford had been invested in over the years, like, you've got great memories there, I've got great memories there, loads of people have got great memories there. It's not been invested in at all, apart from the minimum, for about 20 years. And because it's been neglected by that length of time, the concept of improving it internally and building it up to what it needs to be is now way too big a project. So that's why the new stadium makes sense. It's just that it's coming at the same time as United are penny pinching and cancelling food for staff members. That's why it doesn't match up. And Jonathan, yeah, you can go down there. I'd love to get Andy Mitten on for a chat about this. Because in one of his Athletic articles, he was talking about how he remembers in the 90s when he saw part of the Stretford end of the paddock getting taken down and the new Old Trafford getting built, the exact same sort of fears and anger towards the history, turning your back on the history. And then, of course, that was Old Trafford getting built. And then, of course, it preluded the dominance that we had. And all of a sudden, nobody was really speaking about that before. I'm not saying that people will just cast Old Trafford to the memory bank and never, ever miss it, because that won't ever be the case. Not with the memories that were built in that stadium. But if this new stadium does indeed get built and Manchester United start winning Premier Leagues in that stadium again, it will feel like home. And it won't feel like home, this new stadium, until United win titles again. Until that first Premier League is lifted inside that stadium, until that first Champions League trophy comes home and it gets lifted in front of the crowd, it won't feel like home. but it will as soon as success comes with it, and then the memories that all get built around that. United aren't moving away from Old Trafford just for the sake of it, which I think some of you feel. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. All right. Now, this, of course, is a big element, and I think this is going to be a really interesting part of the build. If we go to, let me find that. Man United new stadium. Because I think it is the most interesting part of the design, and probably what caught obviously what caught everybody's eye straight away was the 3 masts. But this part here, the processional walkway, that's going to go through where Old Trafford used to be. And the suggestion from Campbell here, the architect, is that there's going to be elements of either Old Trafford or the pitch or something to do with the old stadium that will be integrated into this sort of pathway. And, like, for example, I don't know. I don't know the exact location, but say if that's the railway line there, that means that Old Trafford was probably going to be around about here. I don't know. You could have the centre circle still painted on the pathway. You could have parts of the Old Trafford pitch lining the grass here. That could just be all the original Old Trafford. Well, I say it's the original Old Trafford pitch. It's not the original Old Trafford pitch. It gets replaced every few years. But you get what I mean? You'll probably have I don't know where you would have the Munich. What are they going to do with the Munich tunnel? Do you reckon they're going to rebuild a Munich tunnel? Make that part one of the lower concourses? I don't know. Stretford End goalposts. That's a really cool idea. Trinity statue. What elements do you think you could include in this part here? Because this is where I genuinely think fans will be able to have an input. Ideas that can be just sparks that you can give. I don't know how you get in contact with them. I don't know how you get the message across. But it feels like fans can have an input on this part. They should have spots where iconic goals, you can stand in the same spot where it happened. It's a really, really good one, man. It's a really, really good one. I think that is exactly going to be the case. Like you kind of like, it's like you can almost make it like an active museum. That walkway, when you walk down, you see that's where Rooney scored his overhead kick against City from. That one right there is where Scholes scored against Barcelona. That one there is where Ruud van Nistelrooy started his run against Fulham. It'll be awesome. Clock tunnel and statues, of course. I think those are absolute givens and definites. Justin said they mentioned all those items in the video. I don't exactly remember where they said they were going to be, and they also mentioned they're looking for fan input. Munich tunnel needs to be a public area that does not require entrance to the stadium. Well, I imagine it's going to be quite a big public area around the actual turnstiles, right? That's a big part of the logic. The big part of this is you're effectively making a Manchester United city. Like, as part of that, you could in theory put the old dugout somewhere, and it could be a photo opportunity for you to go and sit in the same seat that Fergie sat in, that Amram sat in. Look, again, you can look at this with a completely cynical point of view if you want, and I understand that. And we'll speak about the season tickets next. But they're talking a good game, all right? They're talking a good game, these architects, about the fact that this is a football-first stadium, the fact that they're not going to be ignoring what fans are saying. Look, you hear all this spiel before. It's whether or not it actually comes through. Honestly, I think what we should do here as a community, maybe we can do this on Discord. If you can, I don't know if anybody can help with this. Alex, if you can help. If we put a list together, because I've got some emails of people I can email at United. If you put a list together of ideas for the new stadium, and we put it in a one-page doc, like as I said, I think ideas of how to incorporate different parts or memories of Old Trafford onto that processional walkway, and I'll send the email across and see if they can get it across to Foster and Partners. Because they will be taking on ideas from fans, whether they listen to or not, whether they include them or not, we'll find out in the goodness of time. But everything we're hearing so far is a suggestion that football is going to be the driving factor for decisions inside the stadium, the acoustics, the roofing materials, to make sure that the noise and the acoustics make sense and that sound doesn't escape. Because if you create, that's pretty cool, to be fair, like sound engineering. You can trap sound. You can let sound go if you want. You can trap sound, and if you do that, it just makes it louder, makes it even more intimidating. AstroTurf in the loos. Only thing worse than that, Henrik, would be carpet. Whoever came up with carpet in toilets and carpet in bathrooms? You're a weirdo. Sorry, it's making me cough. Sam for Prime Minister, man. This country is already bad enough. Let's not go crazy on that. Any idea where we can reach out ourselves to, Brian? I don't know. I imagine if you were to... How do you get in touch with a club, comms-wise? You wouldn't get in touch with a ticket office. There must be like a general email that exists on the website. Don't know. Sorry. That's better, I think. Nope, still there. Eric, you're saying, Sam, am I the only one who doesn't want them to strip away? Sorry. Damn it! I thought we were good. We're not good. Maybe in a few days. A couple of days. Should probably go to the doctors today, I think. I think we'll go doctors. Fine. Sam, I'm not going to lie. Am I the only one who doesn't want them to strip away monumental things from Old Trafford and prefer it to be intact as a historical monument with the new stadium fresh to engrave? I mean, maybe there's a way to keep... I don't know. Actual physical elements of the stadium. I don't know. Going down the walkway here and then you've got just a section of seats that are still in place. I got no idea. I'm getting red. I'm coughing, man. What do you expect? Of course your face goes red. Oh, I need honey in my tea. I need Coke and sugar. If I listed off all the things that people told me to do yesterday, it was really quite funny. There's like 9 or 10 different home remedies. Thank you to everyone. But I am going to, as I said, today, 6 p.m, the latest United People's Production video is going out. And I will do a follow-up video on everything that was spoken, because there's a lot more that's spoken about in this. And I know not every one of you is going to watch a 25-minute video. So what do? I'll watch it all. And I'll condense it into a video. And I'll do that on probably tomorrow. Rex, you're saying Manuka honey. Honey this? I had honey and lemon yesterday. Look, honestly, it's a lot better today. It's just it sometimes catches you out. Now, unfortunately, to go from the positives to the negatives, right? And this was my reaction. Was if there was one set of fans who got the short straw from the season ticket price decisions, it was the older fans. And there's quite a lot of stories, man, because there's a lot of fans. I don't actually know. Is this Is there any way to find out how many of United's season ticket holders are over the age of 65? I choked on the idea of AstroTurf toilets. Whoever sent that comment, it's all your fault. I don't know if that's actually publicly available information or if United just keep that to themselves. But there's definitely a lot of people that have been affected by this. And effectively what the club is doing, and it does, look, a lot of United fans, and I felt it myself, for a while it feels like the club is almost trying to ostracize and kind of squeeze certain fans out. Squeeze out the legacy fans, as they call it. And this is a kind of a direct action on that. Squeezing out older fans to make way for younger fans is effectively what this is. And you have to it's bad. It is bad. And you know what's really bad as well? I didn't actually realise this. So this is from the Daily Mail. You know the conversations around the seats that are just behind the dugouts. I thought they were just talking about the 2 or 3 rows just behind where the dugouts were. But they're actually talking about blocks. Look. In an email seen by United Confidential on Daily Mail, United have informed around 500 supporters that they will be moved next season to create premium hospitality seats. So it's actually 500 fans who are going to be moved away from those seats behind the dugouts. My God, the club is going to make an absolute bucket load of money off that. Converting 500 seats from season tickets to 500 hospitality seats. That's why they're doing it. R10 saying younger fans typically spend less. Mate, dude. Younger fans got no money. Now, the cost of living is just, it's easily the highest it's ever been since I've been alive. And it's only getting higher. It's only getting crazier. But I just didn't realise it was as much as 500 seats. That's what kind of shocked me when I figured that out this morning. I mean, sod knows where they get moved. Are they going to create 500 different season tickets in different areas? I don't know. Dynamic member pricing. Have we spoken about that and the problems? I think the 5% increase of the season ticket prices is probably the least of the issues that came out of United's season ticket announcement. Genuinely, I think the dynamic pricing of games, like A-list games and B-list games, is worse. I think the cutting of the concessions to OAPs by that margin in that space of time is worse. And moving just 500 fans away from seats they've held their whole lives simply because they're prime for hospitality and just shifting them somewhere else. Worse. All those 3 things are worse than the 5% ticket increase. Right, last couple of points before we wrap it up today. This just came out for the Daily Mail yesterday, and I could do a video probably easily today with like 6, I don't know, probably like 6 strikers that we've been signed with. Whether it's Delap, whether it's Ekitike, whether it's Jonathan David, whether it's Victor Osimhen, whether it's Victor Osimhen? It is Victor Osimhen. Are they both called Victor? I don't know why that's only just dawned on me. Are they both called Victor? Why has it only just dawned on me? Anyway, Osimhen and Gyökeres. There's loads more, all right? There's loads more. Who do you think will actually sign? I got no idea. I personally think that Gyökeres we're going to get outpriced on, and especially if we don't win the Europa League, I don't think there's any chance. There might be a chance we win the Europa League. Osimhen, I think, will demand wages that will be in excess of what United are willing to offer. And if he doesn't agree to reduce them, I don't think we can sign Osimhen. Liam Delap, I can see fundamentals there. But I would with all the problems that we've had with younger strikers, I just can't look past experience. I think that there's one position that we have to not sign a prospect, and that's what Liam Delap would be. I think we have to go striker. I think we need some form of proven goal scorer. Yeah, Mantata. No, Matata? Mateta. Mantata. Mateta. You confused me there. No worries. Far more of a experienced goal scorer than Liam Delap is. And Jonathan David doesn't move me, man. Never really has. I just find it red flags that he's been at Lille for like 4 years and always been, Jonathan David this, Jonathan David that, but no one's ever signed him. And obviously you become a more interesting prospect when you're free, but no one's ever wanted to put money down and sign Jonathan David. I just find it odd. There must be a reason for that. Anyway, we'll find out a bit more about that in the future. But yeah, for anybody who's just tuning in, welcome aboard. The good news is that Aiden Heaven posted this on Instagram. And that doesn't really sound like somebody who's really suffered a big injury. And I might just be clutching at straws here. But hopefully we'll get some form of update from the club today. I think we can see if anything's been said whilst we're live and direct. Jacob Steinberg. West Ham have made an offer to Angel Gomez, but confidence to them agreeing a deal with him is low. I might go there. I have no idea. I think Stephen Railston from the Manchester Evening News said that United are still just kind of looking into it. We don't actually have an update yet. Lautaro Martinez, you coming back with that, Ant? You've got Martinez stocks, I swear. Last minute of the show. If anybody's got any questions, please do fire them in. Isn't it weird? You just get a coughing fit out of nowhere. Now I'm fine. Now I'm sweet. How annoying. Look, because Jonathan David is free, I mean, we missed out on Marcus Thuram. Who's the other one? Marcus Thuram. Who was the other free striker? It wasn't free, but it was Guirassy going to Dortmund for like 17 mil. Both of those were just like... Cats or dogs? It's a good question, says Volpez. I always had cats my whole life. But if I'm going to get an animal from this point onwards, I'm probably going to get a dog. What else is saying down here? Someone down there just going to call out this bullshit. Who was it that wanted that? Yeah, Neymar. Few deleted message. Get Greenwood back. Ooh. You're a proper scumbag, you are, mate. There's people that still just, he's scoring goals now, yes, bring him back, yeah. It's like, just walk out the door and don't ever come back into United People's TV. You are a scumbag. End of story. Taremi, yeah, that could have been another good one. Was that from Porto? It feels like United have missed out on potential cheap, experienced strikers. I wouldn't ask me for health tips right now. I'm coughing my guts up. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Today is going to be no lunchtime video, no, sue me, but 6 p.m. is going to be the latest production from United People's Productions. And it's going to be on the new stadium. A little mini doc, kind of following on from the deep dive we did, which has all the information. It doesn't include this information. We'll do this in a separate video that's going out on Thursday. Yeah. No, yeah. There you go, debt work. Should we do this at the end of the show? Just to see where this nonsense is coming from. Right. De Jong to Manchester United. Where is it coming from then? Let's have a look. Let's see how bad this source is. Man United told Barcelona, according to reports, a hot potato. Isn't that interesting? Where is this report coming from? Right, I'll read through this with you, right? Interesting part of the show. Let's have a look. Man United reach £42 million for hot potato. That's a very expensive potato. Where's the actual article come from then? A previous report described De Jong as a hot potato. Again, get over the fact, stop calling him hot potato. Man, they don't even quote where it's from. Romano told Give Me Sport. Oh, it's just garbage. It's garbage, right? As I said, it's literally wipe a piece of paper, go, oh, De Jong. Oh, let's have a whole conversation about De Jong. It's not covering news. I do not care if I get called out for it. Anyway, I'll be here tomorrow trying to cover actual news. I'm not speaking about hot potatoes. Unless I'm a potatoes in the comments. I'll have a conversation about potatoes then. But thank you all for tuning in. Hope you had a good day. I'll be back here tomorrow, back here at 6 p.m. tonight. It's nice, this international break that we haven't lost before we go into it. It's nice. Go and enjoy the sunshine. It's hot today. Sunbathing, shorts weather? Yeah.